Welcome everybody to Morning Coins with John and Chaz. I am John Spalding from G1NBC Cuyahoga County, and I have my buddy. He's over on this side. It always reverses in the broadcasting system. And I got my buddy Chaz Rollo from Genesee County, Michigan, and this is Morning Coins. So thanks for being here, Chaz. How are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. We got a nice show coming up. It's going to have a lot of diverse information on it, and it's going to be real valuable to the tentative or prospective investors.
Absolutely. So let's hop right into it with our disclaimer. So cryptocurrencies, futures, stocks, and options trading involves substantial risk of loss and are not suitable for every investor. The valuation of cryptocurrencies, futures, stocks, and options may fluctuate, and as a result, clients may lose more than their original investment. All investments discussed on the show are for informational purposes only and are not recommendations to buy or sell. So, given that, what are we going to talk about today, man?
We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to look at exchanges, not all of them, but we are going to cover a couple exchanges so we can just start to get a feel for how these transactions or who we do these transactions through. I have the link screen up here. Is that the one you're showing, John, right now?
Yep.
Okay, so we've provided links for people to do their own research on these. And I found something real interesting in doing my research. I was looking for some mainstream state-of-the-art exchanges to talk about. And so a lot of these websites have top 40, top 10, top 5 sites. What I found was I never found the same exchanges in any of the sites. Every time I picked a page, they were all different. So I picked out the ones that I'm most familiar with, and we're going to cover those today. Also, we have a coin that we're going to cover, and it's Golem, a coin that has something to do with supercomputing and the use of blockchain to give people access to supercomputing resources.
Okay,
and then we have some reviews going on from last week. We're going to take a look, see what happened since we talked about the last coins, and a couple of indicators, new indicators that we're going to look at. And then we got some free stuff that we're going to show you how to get some free stuff, free books.
All right, awesome. Oh, I forgot about that free books one. So cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to talking about that for definite. So yeah, let's look at our next slide, and that's talking about getting into our discussion about exchanges. And so the first one up is Coinbase.
Coinbase. I picked that one.
The evil empire, as some people in the crypto community refer to it as.
Well, you know, and they're the successful evil empire. Coinbase. I'm a member of Coinbase, and I looked online, and they did get really good reviews. I think at this point in time, anytime you read a review, there's going to be bad stuff because somebody's going to complain about customer service. I can't talk to anybody.
Right.
And sometimes that's a result of success being your worst enemy. You just don't have the resources and manpower to actually respond to everybody right away.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've been in those situations. I know what it's like, and you're just swamped and overwhelmed. But at that rate, Coinbase is a U.S. company, and I live, and both of us live in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I selected this one because it's nice to have someone close to home. And
right, I gotcha. And
holdings. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, and it for know your customer type stuff, and also like they sent out the packet on how to or what counts as, you know, tax liabilities and what don't, and how can you help manage it. So they are trying to do, I think, their best work to the American consumer. You know, they're just
additionally, they are subject to U.S. laws.
Yeah, that's the key point right there, is that every exchange is going to be subject to local laws in the country where they're founded or where they're stated.
Right.
And that's why they all are going to operate differently, and that's why, like you said, some hold some tokens, some hold some coins, some hold other tokens, and they don't. So it really all depends on the origin of the token as well.
That's correct, yeah. And so in this case, I selected Coinbase because it's a U.S. company, and if you want, you can go visit them. So
All the links are in.
Yeah. So holdings at Coinbase, your crypto at Coinbase are insured if the exchange is hacked. This is good, but people have to be mindful that that insurance does not cover your wallet if it's hacked.
Very good point.
Yeah, so if your
Very good
wallet
point.
is hacked for some reason,
Yep, or if someone hacks your cell phone or your internet.
yeah, if that happens, you're on your own.
Yep.
Right. All right. So that's an important point to know, but I think that them trying to protect the exchange is good for us as well. Cash balances. Oh, excuse me, I skipped over one. When you buy and sell, you are buying and selling with Coinbase, not the blockchain. Coinbase stands as a middleman between you and the market. So that's a good thing to know as well.
Definitely.
I've done some transactions on Coinbase. I have not had any problems. They've executed good, and I'm happy with what they did. Cash balances. Some people keep cash balances on hand so they can do quick trading.
Mm-hmm.
Any cash held at Coinbase is FDIC insured.
Okay.
To the FDIC, a limit of $250,000. Now, here's how they do that.
I think that's new too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how new it is, but this is the first time I've read it.
Okay.
Coinbase has accounts at banks in the U.S. Those banks are insured, and through the FDIC, there is an agreement that their sub-accounts or my account or your account, individual accounts, are covered for the $250,000.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
So the money held at the banks is protected.
Good.
And I did put a link there so that people could, access the text and the explanation of how they're insured.
Yeah, and thanks for noticing that, because when you guys see links, we put them in the description for, right now we're on DLive, and so we put that in the description when we go live, so you can follow along with us on the slides. Just go to the description and check out that link.
Absolutely. Okay, so coins covered by Coinbase. It's sort of a limited amount. Coinbase is sticking with the big ones. Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Etherium. Those are their four. There's been a lot of rumors about other coins being added, and I'm sure in the future they will be. But at this point, Coinbase is denying that they're adding any other coins at this point.
Okay.
There are orders that you can place on Bitcoin. Market, limit, stop orders, which, that's for the majority of people, that is enough. One that I miss here, that's one of my favorite, is called a trailing stop. And I'll just explain a little bit about a stop order right here, just so everybody understands what I'm talking about. A stop order is executed when your price of your coin gets to that price, and then it's executed. So, for instance, if you're selling a coin and you want to protect yourself on the downside, you put a stop order just below the high, or just below the level that the coin is currently at. That sell order will not execute until the price reaches that level.
I like that. That's cool. But that is that's like kind of knowledge that I don't know a lot about, not being like without having to learn it on my own, right? And I think that's kind of
right.
And those are investing tips and things that you kind of learn as you're getting into doing any type of trading like that. If you really want to, would you call that like a beginning skill that you probably should have if you're going to be doing like active trading? Or is that intermediate? I don't know.
Well, I think for beginners, it's probably more important than intermediate guys or experts. And I'll tell you why. We talked about this once, exit strategies.
Right.
People have a great way to get in. I'm in, but when they get in, they should have already thought about when they're going to get out.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they know they need to know what stop they're getting off at if you're on the bus. A stop order helps you do that. It helps you give you an exit strategy.
Okay.
The one I missed on all this is what's called the trailing stop. And on the sell side, what it does is it follows the price of the coin up.
Future episodes.
Yes, we're gonna that really is an episode that we need to cover these, but we'll move on.
All right, yeah, let's zip through some of these exchanges.
Fees, 1.5% for buying with bank transfer.
Okay.
And then 4% when you buy with a credit card.
Gotcha. Okay.
Again,
so a little bit more.
A little
bit more. Don't rack up your credit cards, Americans, buying crypto like a bunch of idiots.
I'm strictly against it.
Because you're gonna find like all those people in December, they were getting all hot and bothered and happy that it was going up above 11,000, and they probably I would feel bad if anyone bought anything on credit card for a Coinbase, and now it's sitting there at like $8,500, and it has been since almost middle of January.
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking about those people who are in at the high of Bitcoin, and I wonder if they're still holding or not.
They're angry.
I'm a holder. So
hodl.
Yep, I'm a hodl. I'm in. Okay, so there's a second part to Coinbase. It's called GDAX.
See, now you didn't have it up there, so I didn't know if you knew that or not. I was going to test you. You can't like open it and take away my challenge question.
Well, I'll make sure and be more explicit next time. GDAX is the traders platform for Coinbase. It has limited charting. When I mean that is when we look at these other charts, there's not a lot of indicators and things that you can use on it. It's very basic.
Right.
So I think you would need third-party options to do that. I use TradeView for that, and they do an excellent job. TradeView is an excellent charting system. They support multiple order types like we saw with Coinbase, but no credit cards.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Trades are through the exchange. So that means you're trading. When you do a trade, you're trading with someone else that's selling.
Right. And that is Coinbase's platform. So, and you can take your stuff that you have on Coinbase. They do charge a nominal to move, but once you're in there, you don't get charged to trade.
Correct.
That's how you understood it, correct?
Well, when you're in there, there's a 0.25% fee on that.
Is that for any trade, or is that just when you transfer it back to Coinbase?
I think I'm trying to remember. I think that is for any trade that you do. So
we're gonna check.
Okay.
Because I'm not. I thought it was a little bit different, so we're gonna have to check that. You guys who haven't done GDAX within Coinbase before, and who knows, someone will watch this and make a nice comment about how John and Chaz are out here doing TV shows
and don't know what they're talking about.
I wasn't going to say that, but then I just stopped. I was just going to be like, well, what are we going to say for our next exchange?
All right. Coins. Bitcoin Cash, Etherium, and Litecoin.
Yep.
So the same 4 coins that Coinbase handles.
Yep. And probably another one or two this year. We just don't know which ones they'll be.
Exactly. So, next slide.
Yes, sir. It's already there.
Bitstamp. This one is not out of the U.S. It's out of London. It is a true exchange. So when you trade, you're trading with another person on the other side of the trade. They connect you with your buyers and sellers. Rates start at 0.25% and reduce with larger sums of money starting at $20,000. So they have an interesting feature that they use sub-accounts. You can have sub-accounts. You can have your regular main account, but then you can set up sub-accounts to divide up your funds.
That's interesting.
It is, because if someone...
Okay,
go ahead. Accounting purposes.
Okay.
You want to, you do a little bit, keep your certain money separate because you have them relegated to certain things. trading purposes. Maybe you have an experimental trading system you want to try, but you want to see what the success is. So keeping it separate will help you determine
Okay.
if you're making
Or
money.
if you want to try out different theories.
Yes.
As well. Okay.
They do take debit and credit card deposits, but they must be 3D compliant. I did put a link there. I went and looked at this. It has to be. You have to have, your bank has to support 3D compliance, and the link will show you how that works. They have graphs and things on there. Basically, it's just an added layer of security. It's a double check to make sure your card, in fact, is your card.
Okay.
Cash deposits can take 2 to 5 days using a credit card. That's a long time. Coins, currency, they do Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and you can trade currency pairs, USD and U. Yes.
You can?
Yeah.
So then, like, if you were going to London, if you have a Bitstamp account, you can actually like go and get euros somewhere if there's like a ATM or something.
Well, you would be able to liquidate your holdings and get euros. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you would still have to figure out a way to. That's the interesting thing for me, right? With exchanges like this, is you're going to have countries partnering to share each other's fiat, I believe,
yes.
right? And so
yes.
they're going to have, countries are going to have to come up with a way to allow travelers to get access to that stuff, which is where I think those Bitcoin ATMs and things like that are really going to come into play in the next, 3 to 5 years.
And I've seen a few of those now, Bitcoin ATMs and things
we have
like
one in
that.
Lakewood, Ohio. It's over at this.
Really?
Yeah, it's over at this game place. I want to go over. Maybe I'll do it for a special episode. I'll go over there and drop $50 in there and buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, and like just interview them on customers and who comes in and stuff like that. But there's a cool crypto community in Cleveland. That they do some pretty interesting meetings and meetups and things like that. So sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Good information. That'll be interesting to see how that ATM works.
Yeah.
So we're moving on now to our coin of the day, and it's Golem, the Golem platform.
I was calling it Golem for the longest time, like that character in the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I'll go with that. That sounds good.
But you have the good pronunciations. I think that you might have a little bit of European blood in you. You say what? Say it again.
Etherium.
Etherium. I can't even do it. And Golem. I'm like, I always think, I'm like, wow, does he know? Is that right?
Everything I say is right and true, John.
I say that to myself every morning.
Golem.
Golem. Let's do Golem. I like Golem.
I think this thing is exciting because they're Ethereum-based tokens and used to fuel the Golem platform. And I'm just going to read the slide to simplify it a bit more. Golem supercomputers will run when a user pays GNT tokens. These tokens will be given to people who have rented out their extra computing power on the Golem network. And Golem's coin supply is fixed, which means as a project becomes more popular, the price of GNT will likely increase. So this laptop I'm on right now, I can rent this out through Golem to somebody who needs more computing power.
Yeah.
And they plan on networking in all these computers all over the world so they can create a networked supercomputer on the blockchain.
Yep. I like that. I had some at one point when I thought I was a trader and I realized that I was just a hodler. I'm like, I would look at my computer and I'd be like, oh, yuck. But so there's another similar, this is what's interesting about the space. There's another, what I would call a similar company, and that's Cycoin, that has the same concept of being able to run network. But these guys, their difference is supercomputers. Like Cycoin doesn't use that. It's more like server space for file storage and things like that, right? So
Yeah.
all of these companies and token creators are different.
Yeah, and so Golem wants to use your CPU basically
Yep.
to process.
Yeah,
Um,
and Cycoin wants to use your hard drive to store, or to
yeah,
run bits to store.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had tried to sign up for that because I wanted to rent out my computer,
Uh-huh.
but I need Windows 10 before that can happen.
Gotcha. Yeah. And
So,
for those of you that are watching either now or on the replay, right above me there is a space. And we would love for that to be advertising space as we move forward. If you like us and you want to talk about your ICO, your company, your project, anything that you might have coming up. So just know that space is available on this slide when we do our transitions. So
and
thanks
more
again.
coming available too.
What's that?
So more space coming available.
Absolutely.
Next slide was I can't fully say this is my idea, but one of the things you might want to look at when you're looking at the Golem development team is you want to look at see who the development team is.
Yep.
And so what I did was, if you see, there's a little icon down the lower left for LinkedIn.
Yep.
On each one of these. I went and looked at the founder. I wanted to check him out to see how many different places he shows up, to see if he's a real person or not.
Gotcha.
And he did. He was in a number of different places and has a background in computing, of course.
Of course.
And you can do that with each one of these people. What I found interesting was, though, is that the first three on the top had a bio on the page where this came from, and the bottom three did not.
Okay.
I don't know why they wouldn't put a bio on for all of their developers, but for some reason it's not there.
Interesting. Yeah, I do like having the LinkedIn information there. I think, as much information as people can provide. I do think adding LinkedIn adds legitimacy, because LinkedIn is and has a great niche as the professional social media service.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's where people go to have adult conversations. Unfortunately, they go to Facebook now to have unadult conversations or childlike conversations, but you get what you pay for.
Down some smack, or
yeah.
other.
I do that. I do that every night, and then I rewind and erase so I don't have to post. Every now and again I post. But.
One last comment on the developer thing.
Yes.
I mean, if you went to LinkedIn and that guy had a minimalist profile or was not there, red lights and flags should be going. So
right.
It's because there is a couple outfits out there that claim they have developers, and all of a sudden they disappear off the screen, and
they disappear to a beach.
Yeah, and that is just one thing you need to. It will be an additional way to protect yourself.
Great, cool.
Okay, I'm done with developers.
All right, bye Golem.
And so here we have a chart, and it's a 4-month chart, and you can see that Golem had a big peak there and it ran down. But the thing I wanted to point out, there was two things.
Okay.
A new indicator, which I don't know why I skipped over this in the beginning on our first show, but it's that green line on the chart, and it's a simple moving average.
That's okay.
It'll give you some idea of price movement, which way it's going. And some people would say, if it goes above a certain amount above the line, you should sell. If it goes below it, you should buy. But it's a way you can, and I'm looking closer. I have, I think, a 75-day average here. So it's a 75-day period. It moves forward, and each time it gives you a not so sloping line. It's more smooth.
Mm-hmm.
it's just something that you can use. You can go out to 200 days and it'll give you a bigger picture of what's going on. Or you can use a shorter term one, let's say 30 days, and follow the price movement that way. Some people use both of them together, and they do what's called an SMA crossover. When the fast line or the short term one crosses over the long term one, they consider that, you know, either a buy or sell depending on which direction it's going.
Gotcha. Yep.
The last thing I want to talk about on the chart is that the on-balance volume at the bottom.
OBV.
Yep, OBV
Yep.
Seems like it's pretty steady. It's there's an inflow of money into Golem.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you see one of the? You see the? Well, yeah, you can probably see the candlesticks in red over to. I would say like the 12th or something of February.
Yes.
Some action on those candlesticks in the red is mine.
Excuse me. Yeah, the candlesticks, if you remember from last time, they're hike and ashy candlesticks. They try to identify trends. And when it's green, that means we're looking at an upward trend, you know, and it's pretty obvious by looking at the candlesticks that, you know, that's true.
Yep.
But just like, and I did check a lot of other coins before we came on. Almost everybody's down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
they're down like big time.
There's nothing wrong with the individual coins. This is just a market sell-off, and they're waiting for some kind of event or some kind of thing to happen to cause these things to turn the corner.
Yep. And we don't know if they will.
I'm pretty convinced they will.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay.
You got in this after I did, so I'm gonna. Yeah, I like anybody's optimism.
Yeah. Next slide is the reason I put this one on there. I was watching.
You wanted to promote GDAX?
No, what I was trying to do was I was looking at. Dang it, I lost my slide.
Your depth chart.
Yeah, the depth chart is. I had a guy I was watching online, and he was talking about buying. He was like advising people, right?
Right.
And he got to this point where the depth of chart came, where some people, you know, it's like an order book, which you can see on the left there a little bit. He says, well, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, dude, you're advising people and you don't know what that means?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I put this up there so people could see it. And the order book, which is the numbers, 2 number columns there, shows the orders and prices coming to the market.
Okay.
They roll through pretty fast. If you were looking at this, they change fast and they're hard to read, right?
Right. I would bet that any novice would be petrified of that.
I think so. And my opinion is I'm a holder, and I don't have time for that. I don't look at that because that is not important to me. My finger is not hanging over the buy or sell button, you know, every minute.
Yeah. Yep.
The right side is the mountain charts. There is a chart displaying the same. It just gives you a more graphic view of what's happening on the left.
Okay. So
it's someone who's a trader, those will probably be important.
Gotcha.
To them. But to me, I don't use them because I pick my times. I'm in, I'm out.
All right.
All right. So our review. We talked about Ripple last time.
Oh, yeah.
And so the blue arrow.
That's us again?
That's us again.
Oh, my goodness.
Our show. And you can see what's happened to Ripple, but I'm liking this because I'm going to get in pretty soon.
Uh-oh. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Someone's going to go buy himself some Ripple.
Don't anyone else do what I do. Do it because you did your own homework. But I'm thinking now these prices coming down like this is looking pretty attractive. It does look like the volumes trailed off a little bit, the inflow of money as you look at the on-balance volume at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't bother me. I think that eventually that will reverse as well as the price reversing.
You know what? I found what one of your keywords is going to be when we get to cutting some commercials. It's going to be, you know what? Market down doesn't bother me. Volume
Yeah,
down doesn't bother me. So when we
they had a
recut,
couple of things in the brokerage business, about when stocks go down. One was "Don't be sore, buy some more," and the other one was "Average down, clown."
oh man, that's funny.
So I'm soon. I will be in the next few days on this.
Cool, cool, cool.
Fun stuff here coming up. Free stuff. So we have discovered free books on Bitcoin, something you can use to educate yourself on the blockchain and Bitcoin.
Yeah, and this works like that. It's awesome, especially if you're a Amazon Prime. But even if you're not, you can. If you're a Kindle holder, Amazon Kindle, boom, you got it.
All you have to do is download Kindle for PC if you don't have the Kindle itself, and you can load it onto your computer. And then, as you can see, my search criteria at the top was Kindle free books, blockchain. There's 42 books in the list. I screenshotted these 3 just for an example, but these are all free.
That's great. Like, just showing that to folks is worth the price of admission. Why wouldn't you want to sponsor this show with information and resources like that?
Yeah, you can do your research here, right?
Yeah,
You don't have to go get a college course, pay for online training that so many people are trying to do.
yeah.
And you can get a free book and read it on your computer.
There you go. That is the revolution, ladies and gentlemen.
It is. It's the technology revolution. And so at the end here, we got our referral links.
Yep, and those are in the bottom as well. So we got our referral links in there. Those are in the description as well. And then you also see the link to Happy Rock from bensound.com. So thank you for providing that.
Yes, thank you guys for
bensound.com.
providing it.
And so what happens for those of you who don't know and who aren't mad at Coinbase for being the imperial power, is that if you click on one of our links and then you register a Coinbase account and you invest $100 of your own money to get your own coins, we get $10 in Bitcoin, and so do you. So what we did was we just said, we'll put our links up there, and if you want to do that with either one of our links, please go ahead and do so, and we will give you a shout out if you'd like, and we will be forever in your good graces for being an awesome supporter of the show.
Yes, yes. And so I think, we have lots of things we can cover. Our show is probably going to go on long before we're gone, because there was just so much information here that we can cover.
Yeah, and that's the point, is to do something fun, something weekly. If you guys want to come in, we're going to start putting because we're getting used to this now, and you guys are seeing that this is our third episode, so we'll be putting some stuff in there like live call-in links for sessions and working as best we can out in the community to get folks like Doug Polk. If you hear this, we'd love to have you on there. Sonny Hussein. You're doing some great work out there, so I'll give you guys a shout out, and then anyone else that's doing good work out there. Hopefully, I would love to have some developers and some CEOs of some of these coins later on to be coming on board.
Correct. Yeah, that would be nice to have some guest speakers for us. We'll get somebody out here that will give their angle or their perspective on things, so we can have a deeper discussion about cryptocurrency and the blockchain.
Yep. And you know what? So shout out to my business partner, Jeremy Grandstaff, who does collaboration experiences at SG Endeavors, www.sgendeavors.com. I will have a logo and a little bit longer of a write-up about the work that you guys do. And I think that the collaborative services that you provide will be a great help to providing consensus to some of these Bitcoin and blockchain communities. I think there is someone trying to get on a different Zoom. So I think we're going to have to wrap up for today. But
Okay.
Charles, any closing comments from you before we head out?
One last thing, visit G1NBC Flint, and there's a lot of good stuff going on there, so you guys can be more enlightened.
Awesome. Chaz, thanks again, man. This was great. I have so much fun doing these shows. I hope you, when you see the replay, I hope you like the TV overlay. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, what's your YouTube channel, Charles? Or they can subscribe to G1NBC Ohio, but we'll have both links for DLive and YouTube put on our mutual sites.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right, man. So thanks. This is episode 3 of Morning Coins with John and Chaz. It's morning somewhere, and we will see you later.
In the morning.